The headline from the Arizona Republic is Arizona's three big power utilities looking to build a new nuclear power plant. It's something I've talked about for a long time on the air and off the air. Our push as Americans toward cleaner ways to develop energy, our need for a more stable electric grid, the ability to produce very clean energy very inexpensively has been proven with the Palo Verde nuclear power plant out in the far West Valley. Why is this not something that the entire nation is exploring and doing more of? It's always been a question as a civilian in this world that I've always kind of struggled with. But looking at this issue from that perspective, let's talk to the president of APS, Ted Geisler. Ted, thanks for doing this.
Absolutely. Good to be here with you, Mike.
Talk me through, if you don't mind, how long have these conversations been going on in your world, and how serious have they been that now it's in the media that it's something you're moving toward?
As a part of our normal resource planning process, we always look at all available technologies, and nuclear has consistently been one that we look at. But quite frankly, Palo Verde is the youngest greenfield nuclear generating station that was built in our country, and it came online in the mid to late 1980s. So with the exception of two reactors that were brought online in Georgia the last couple of years, there really hasn't been any new greenfield nuclear generation built in the United States. And so while we assess the technology, it hasn't been one that we've been able to take seriously for a variety of factors until recently. And several things are lining up to where we really believe this is the time to now start to assess how can new nuclear play a role in powering our state's growth into the future. The policy environment is more supportive now than it has been. Electric demand is growing at a greater rate than we've seen in the last several decades. And we also think that nuclear is going to play a very important role in ensuring that we can secure a reliable energy future for Arizona while continuing to decarbonize the grid in a responsible way. So for a variety of factors, we think nuclear has an opportunity to play a role long term. I think the key point, though, Mike, is to recognize that if we started a project today, realistically, you're not going to be able to begin powering Arizona customers until the 2040s. But the planning starts now. And so that's what this is about, is getting together with some of our other Arizona utilities, Salt River Project, Tucson Electric, and APS is going to work with them to lead an effort to explore and assess how can nuclear play a role in our state's energy future.
Yeah, I think it's such a good idea. And, I think the three things customers want is safety, reliability, and low expense, as inexpensively as possible to get the first two. And doesn't nuclear, just if you could snap your fingers, doesn't nuclear power provide all three?
Absolutely. It's certainly a very safe technology. It's been powering our country for decades in a safe and reliable manner. It provides around-the-clock, 24/7, 365-degree reliability, which is outstanding because when we benefit from all the solar in our state, that helps us provide power during the day, but we have to recognize when the sun sets, you then need other resources such as reliable nuclear or incremental natural gas to be able to ensure we keep a reliable grid around the clock. And then, of course, it's 100% carbon-free. And so as we continue to focus on responsible decarbonization, not betting on new technology, but recognizing that nuclear is proven, reliable, clean technology, it can help us with all of that. And then, of course, what we focus on is ensuring that we're growing our resources at the lowest cost possible for customers. And we do believe over the long term, nuclear is a very affordable resource.
Ted Geisler is joining us. He is the president of Arizona Public Service, talking about the option of the big three utility companies here in Arizona partnering possibly, or at least in exploring the idea of another. Would it be just one nuclear station, or would it be more than one?
Mike, that's part of what we want to assess, and we're really trying to take an open mind. So, for example, we've tasked our team that is going to be assigned to this exploration effort to start by saying, if you could put new nuclear anywhere in the state to power our state's future, where would that be? Would it be one central location like we have at Palo Verde? Or perhaps it would be smaller nuclear reactors, one of the newer generation technologies, but you put them at different locations. We also asked them, consider some of the coal sites that are retiring. Could we reuse some of the common infrastructure at that site with new technology like nuclear? And then we said, let's make sure we pay attention to the development within our industry on new nuclear. There's a few projects that are in early stages throughout our country and in Canada. And we want to have representatives staying close to those projects, paying attention to how the commercialization of nuclear is working, given that it is a upgraded and modern version of the nuclear that was built back in the 80s. And that really positions APS and Arizona very, very well to be able to take advantage of this new technology and work with other utilities to partner in identifying the best location in our state so that when a project is ready to go, we're already prepared. We know where it's going to be. We know what technology we want to install, and we can stay ahead of that for the benefit of our customers.
So a lot of this obviously is the planning stage that you're talking about. But when you go through whatever the requirements are, the environmental requirements, there's going to be pushback from some groups. I'm sure that's going to happen. But you find locations, you get through all of that. The actual construction time of a facility do you have any kind of a rough estimate on when the construction begins to when the construction could possibly end?
It's not completely certain what that timeline would be because you first have to pick which technology it is. But I will tell you, nuclear is a long construction and development timeline. It's not a quick technology to develop. The good news is once you develop it, nuclear is known to be able to serve customers for 60, 80, even 100 years. And so you invest that time up front, but the state will benefit over the long term. That's why we think it's important to start the planning now. You know, when Palo Verde came online, it was the fastest reactor construction at the time for Unit 3. It was built from start to finish in 5 years. But the first two reactors before that, the planning started 15 years prior. And so that's what we're doing now, is we're starting the planning today, trying to take advantage of paying attention to some of the projects that are being built around the country or in Canada, and then making sure that while we don't want to bet Arizona's energy future on new technology, that we're well positioned to take advantage of nuclear when it does become commercially viable and suitable for our state.
And so that's my last question is with the massive growth that Arizona is having and expected to continue, I know you're always concerned about reliability of the grid and keeping up with the demand. If this is something you're exploring, what are the other options that are on the table to make sure that as Arizona grows, there's stability in that grid and we know we're going to have the power that we need?
You're right, Mike. Our top priority is meeting our commitment to our customers of ensuring a reliable grid both now and into the future. And so I sort of look at that as two time dimensions. We have projects that are in construction or under development right now as we speak that are in the phase of ensuring we can serve our customers for the next 5 to 10 to 15 years. And this is technology that exists today, such as natural gas, utility-scale solar, utility-scale battery storage, a nice blend of technologies that both helps us ensure reliability at the lowest cost for our customers while continuing to make progress on gradual and responsible decarbonization. But those technologies aren't going to power us entirely through to the future. So we need new additional baseload resources, and that's where nuclear comes in. And so while solar, wind, battery storage, gas can help us between the next 5, 10, 15 years, when we look beyond that, it's going to take additional baseload generation, and that's where we think nuclear can play a big role. And so we're starting now looking at that long-term horizon, but between now and then, we've got technologies in development and under construction. They're going to power our state into the future. In fact, as we sit here today, we've got over 7,000 megawatts of new generation in development, preparing to serve our customers between now and the end of the decade. That's more generation than we've ever had under construction, and we're going to count on it to ensure we continue to provide reliable power to our customers well into the future.
Yeah, it is such a fascinating topic for me, all of this, but especially the nuclear part of this, and you having your finger on the pulse of what's happening. I thank you so much for coming on. I know we called you on short notice. I appreciate the time, and if you don't mind, I'd love to have more of these conversations because I know it's a big curiosity for people to make sure we have what we need, and I'd love to do this more often.
Happy to. I appreciate the opportunity. We take very seriously our role in helping ensure we provide our customers with reliable power, and we want to be transparent about how we're thinking about doing that. So love to have the dialogue about this and appreciate you inviting me, Mike.
All right. That is Ted Geisler spending a few moments with us. He's the president of APS, and I'm sure we'll be talking more about this coming up.
Thanks for watching the Mike Broomhead Show. Catch up on Amazing Arizonans, a KTAR News podcast, and click the button in the middle to subscribe.